We earn money, save money, and buy things. Living beyond the economic cycle is impossible. What trends are dictated by world markets and how does it affect consumers? Watch it in People and Economy. Leasing instead of buying. Today's consumers prefer to rent cars, real estate, appliances, and even clothes. During the last year, the demand for rental apartments increased 2 times. As a result, the leased houses on the global real estate market reached 45%. Similar situation can be observed in the sphere of car renting, the experts say. The size of this market is expected to rise by 15% and reach $80 billion as soon as within 2 years. Dinara Medvedeva began her business with 2 dresses and advertisements in social networks. Currently, she's the owner of the chain of rental saloons. Thus, becoming a temporary owner of a dress will cost at least $30. However, such prices do not frighten fashionistas from Kazakhstan. On the contrary, their number is growing day by day. The director of the saloon calls rationality of modern consumers the main reason for high demand. We lease only brand dresses because usual dresses can be bought in shops. Branded dresses are expensive and not affordable for everyone. It is much cheaper to rent a dress costing $1,000 than buy it. All-inclusive services are what really attracts today's customers, Dinara says. Because of that, evening dresses are frequently sold together with adornments, clutches, and even crowns. Previously, women came here with their own adornments and chose proper dresses. Now it is more comfortable to take everything in one and the same place. Before, they used to ask us where we had clutches, adornments, earrings or necklaces. Presently, for instance, diadems are also in demand. Temporary apparels are in demand not only among women but also among men. Tuxedos, shirts, belts and even wallets. Every clothing item in such shops is well thought and designed for creating a perfect image, which will cost about $40 per day. Fans of winter outside activities will have to spend 3 times less. The fashion for healthy way of life and especially high prices for equipment are the main factors which create queues in rental stores of sports goods. Currently, purchase prices are 60 times higher than rental costs. In other words, buying a thing one time is equal to renting it 60 times. In spring and summer, the demand for bicycle rises. Notably, over the past 2 years, it increased twice, especially in large cities. The reason for that is traffic congestion. According to the statistics, almost every resident of a big urban center annually spends more than 200 hours in traffic jams. Because of that, many people started using two-wheel transport. Its rental price varies from $2 to $15 per day. For comparison, buying a bicycle will cost tens of times higher. Along with bicycles, it is also possible to rent electric scooters, motorbikes and cars. Automobiles are available for lease only for those with a driving license and experience. The minimum price of renting a car is $30 per day. There are situations when a person has a vehicle but it does not meet his or her needs. For example, a man has a truck and needs to take his relatives who came from another town for a trip, so he can rent a car for 1 day or more. There are people whose work is linked with their vehicles, and one day their car might have broken. In this case, they can rent a car for a longer period of time with some discounts. The longer you lease a car, the lower is the price. For instance, we can save up to $200 if we rent a car for 1 month instead of paying for it every day. Moreover, any repair, oil or tire change is done at the expense of the rental company. Still, despite this fact, the experts warn that using your own car will always be several times cheaper. A person always pays extra for services of a rental company. This sum includes car maintenance, the cost of spare parts, insurance, office lease, staff salaries and, of course, renting a car itself. Although car rental services annually replenish the world economy by $50 billion, housing remains the main engine on the rental market. Thus, in Kazakhstan, more than 1/3 of lease proposals are related to flats. The main reason for that is a lull on the sales market, the experts say. The number of alternatives has increased. Sales markets have been replaced in many cases by rental markets. A lot of experts now say that buyers and sellers have adopted a wait-and-see attitude. Many people are waiting for price reduction and sellers do not want to sell their flats at existing prices. For example, if earlier a flat which costed $100,000 currently could be sold only at $75,000 or $70,000. Over the last half year, the demand for rental housing in Kazakhstan rose by 14%. One- and two-room apartments are especially popular. In the meantime, students and entrepreneurs prefer bigger flats, and whereas the first try to save on renting by living together in small groups, the second earn money on that. Hostels are now regarded as additional sources of income for owners of big flats. Indeed, the demand for such low-cost hotels is annually rising by almost 10%, and prices are the main reasons for that. In Kazakhstan, the average price of living in a hostel does not exceed $10 per night. Renting a flat for the same period costs $20. Meanwhile, renting a house during 1 month can cost from $200 to $400. Europeans are the world leaders on the housing rental market. Statistically, more than a half of population in Sweden, Holland, Denmark, Austria, France and Germany live in rented houses. This tendency is stipulated by low rental prices, the experts say. According to their calculations, the average price of a leased flat varies between 5 to 1,500 euros per month, depending on the place and region. Europeans prefer lease and rent not only houses and transport, but also clothes, home appliances, building tools and other household articles which are not in everyday use. Specialists calculated that people used electric drills not more than 20 minutes per year. Renting this instrument gives the possibility of earning up to €5 per day. According to experts' calculations, in the UK there are at least 25 low-usage items in every house which make it possible to earn up to €1,000 within half a year. Like in Europe, rental housing in Asia is also in demand. For example, about 40% of the population in Japan lives in rental flats. Many people cannot afford buying their own houses. The price of 1 square meter in the country reaches $8,000. Meanwhile, renting a flat varies between $500 and $1,500. As a rule, apartments are cheaper on the outskirts of urban centers. Because of that, most of Japanese citizens live far from central districts. To avoid spending time and money on trips from home to work and backwards, many office workers prefer to spend nights in so-called capsule hotels. Instead of rooms, people are accommodated in small sleeping cells measured 1 to 2 meters and located one upon another. Renting such cells costs $10. For reference, the road from home to work and backwards costs 2 times more. Due to serious ecological problems, the authorities of Beijing decided to make local citizens change cars for bicycles. Within 3 years, the demand for rental bikes increased 25 times. Customers are attracted by very low prices. The first hour is free and after that €1 for every 60 minutes. Owing to these measures, the number of vehicles in the municipal transport flow reduced by almost a quarter. In the US, rental flats make up more than 1/3 of the available housing. More than 35 million families live in such apartments, paying for them $250 billion annually. From year to year, the demand for rental flats in the US is increasing by 15%, which also affects the price segment. Only over the last 6 months, rental prices have increased on the average by 10% and reached $1,500 per month. However, the customer flow is not diminishing due to the cessation of wage growth, which does not allow many people to take housing mortgage, say nothing of buying their own houses. Americans, like Europeans, prefer renting needed things from each other instead of specialized companies. According to sociologists, almost 60% of US residents took on hire or leased out their cars, bicycles, musical instruments or home appliances. For example, the annual income from renting a bicycle or camera can reach $2,000. However, this type of a private commerce seriously affects small businesses. Specialists calculated that it can provoke closing of up to 80% of companies specializing on rental services. Sharing economy or collaborative consumption. This is a new method of renting. Currently, its annual growth is reaching 25%. In this type of commerce, the role of lessors belongs not to businessmen but to ordinary people who can rent their things at quite a symbolic price. A lot of people take lease of household appliances or clothes. Mass consumers pay for such services $3.5 billion annually. Some kind of unusual services like family services are also on trend. Temporary fathers, mothers, grandparents, brides and friends are currently being offered all over the world. For example, a hired father can pick up a child from school, do homework or go for a walk. 1 hour of such a work costs about $2 to $3. A grandmother for rent is also a very popular service in Western countries. Thus, a woman in advanced years can take care of your children, meanwhile a temporary friend can accompany you to the cinema or to a gym. Renting pets and exotic animals is also becoming a fashion. Thus, in the US, hourly dog lease services are available already several years. In Japan, people can take cats, ferrets and tortoises for some time. And in Switzerland, it is even possible to rent a cow. Legislation is the main reason for the successful development of this business. For instance, in Japan and in some of the US states, keeping pets in flats is prohibited, and what is more, in some districts of New York, walking a dog requires becoming a member of a special club and paying the annual fee of $300. Dogs are the most popular rental animals. Hiring a dog varies between $15 and $30 per hour. Cats at a price of $5 to $10 rank the second and are followed by exotic animals such as snakes, parrots and tortoises for $20. The last ones are mainly taken for photo shoots or special events. Renting real estate is a profitable business which can serve not as an additional but as the main source of income. However, nobody is immune from unfair tenants. As a result, flat owners often suffer losses in terms of damaged furniture, unpaid electricity bills or water leaked to the ceiling of the flat under. To avoid such situations, the experts advise us to be more careful about contracts concluded with tenants. It is necessary to sign a lease agreement specifying the payment conditions and other terms concerning property damage. For this purpose, it is recommended to draw up a Delivery Acceptance Act in respect of movable goods, furniture and plumbing equipment which was in the flat at the moment of accommodation. This signed and notarized agreement will allow you to prove to the court the relevancy of your claims and obtain the compensation from the offender. Despite the fact that the agreement can provide certain guarantees, the experts recommend flat owners to insure the leased property in order to avoid different types of financial losses. The price of an insurance policy varies from 0.2 to 1% of the market value of the property. Mainly, insurance payments compensate damages caused by fire, natural disasters and destruction of property by third persons. The list of causes can be expanded at the request of the customer. Presently, rented villas, elite automobiles and even yachts are no surprise. However, the service Rental Island appeared not so long ago but became quite popular among today's millionaires. The cheapest option can be found in the Caribbean Sea. Living on such an island for 1 week will cost you $100,000. The price of a premium class offer in the Bahamas reaches $500,000. However, such prices do not frighten sophisticated tourists who book trips to such islands 6 months before vacations.